making a milk and cookies episode when some guy in a red suit broke into my house and ate all the cookies. He tried to get away, but I had him cornered. I ended up letting him escape, but first we cut a deal. So now, I get to cook for you. Okay, all reindeer games aside, I ordered some caribou from Alaska. These came in medallions, which I normally would stay away from. I've always been weary of medallions because I didn't know what actual cut of meat they were. And we will come to some very interesting conclusions as we experiment with these. I'm cooking them 4 ways for you. They had bacon wrapped around them, but I took it off since I want to see what caribou tastes like. So here we go. First, I season both sides with only salt and pepper. Hot pan, small amount of grapeseed oil. Sear both sides very fast. Oven probe and into a 400-degree oven until internal temperature of 125 and it carried over to 140. A sharp eye will notice something wrong with this picture here. It will become more apparent as we move through the different ways that I cook these medallions. When I tasted it, I noticed that it was very tender with a mild taste. It was not nearly as gamey as I expected. It had a soft texture. I thought it was very good. On to the next method. I seasoned both sides with salt and pepper again. This time I cooked them in the pan all the way. I took some of the bacon and chopped it up and put it in the pan. Then added some butter, garlic, and thyme to the pan. After adding the caribou, I basted it with the butter, flipping it every minute or so. Now you don't need a sharp eye here to notice that there's a piece of silver skin running through the middle of the meat. The plot thickens. This was more of an intense flavor, of course, but was awesome. Not as soft as the texture of the first time, but it had bold flavors that made up for that. It had the consistency of a sirloin steak. Very tasty stuff. Next, I wanted to make the caribou as tender as I possibly could, so I busted out my immersion circulator and decided to sous vide them. Salt and pepper into the vacuum seal bag. I put the bag in the water with a grate to prevent them from floating to the surface and cooked them at exactly 129 degrees for 2 hours. After 2 hours, I removed them from the water. Not a single drop of juice leaked out of them. And this is where it gets weird. Just look at them. There seems to be a mysterious layer on the outside of the medallions that formed to the vacuum seal bags. The gray color is normal since they still need to be seared. But that processed look about them, this is not a single cut of meat. It's a formed shape. I did some research since I was unfamiliar with medallions and found out that they are smaller pieces of meat that are formed into a medallion shape. So I seared them like I would a single cut of meat. I wanted to do something different here, so I took some chopped onions, minced garlic, chicken stock, spinach leaves, salt, pepper, and a touch of heavy cream. Also some white pepper, and I let it reduce in the pan a tiny bit. Then I threw in some butter and added some cooked rigatoni pasta and also some grated Parmesan cheese. I sliced the meat into thin slices. I tasted it and it was melt-in-your-mouth tender. After plating the pasta, I topped it with the slices of sous vide caribou. This tastes extremely delicious. So now that we have a better understanding on what to expect from a medallion, I wanted to cook one more dish. I dedicate this last one to my good buddy Jignesh and decided to call it crusty white baguette was sliced open and I removed the interior layer for maximum stuffage. Then loaded it up with the caribou and topped it with a layer of lovely cheese sauce. This is how they do it in the North Pole, you know. Is it good, you ask? I'll let you be the judge. Merry Christmas, and I will see you on the next video.